So part two of this video, I said there was a typo. No typo, I just didn't read clearly what I was doing. The key here is whether or not you start with the word the or you start with the word a. If you say the number of, you use singular. The number of something, prep phrase, is a number of something, prep phrase, are, because you would use plural. It's a very, very picky piece of grammar, but it is a way that we distinguish something, maybe the number, a specific singular item, or a number meaning something plural. Okay, here you could substitute the word group, and here you kind of are thinking more item-esque. So it's a very subtle difference. So to continue on with our agreement discussion with some examples. Now, clearly we have collective nouns, audience, audience, 5 years, last 6 miles. We have to look at each one of these to determine if they're acting as a collective unit. Is it one unit, or is it separate individuals acting? So when we look at the audience was or were entering the theater, are they entering as a single blob all at once, or are they entering as separate individuals? Well, clearly they're entering as individuals, which means it's a they because it's plural, and so we say they were entering. But in the second example, the audience was or were one, hint, because this is a predicate nominative, of the best. This is as a single unit, collectively they acted, singular. Okay, and then we would use it as our test. 5 years has or have been a long time to wait. If we are waiting a period of time, this is all being added together as a single unit. Okay, one chunk of time. So it's singular, so we say it. It has been a long time. If we are out running 6 miles, these are individual because you are going to feel every one of those. So they were the most scenic. Each and every one separately. They were. So you really have to think about, is it a separate, is the meaning separate, or is the meaning a collective group? If we look at some more examples here, the theory of plate tectonics. Get this phrase out of your mind. Subject theory is singular, has is singular. The pressure of colliding plates, again, prep phrase, don't think about that. Say the pressure force, the pressure forces. Forces, because the pressure is singular. Each of the companies. Each is a pronoun. Here's my prep phrase. If you check your list, do we say each is or do we say each are? Okay. Each is a singular pronoun. And so we use has, which are singular verb. Several is our pronoun, happens to be our subject. Of the industrial safety problems is our prep phrase. Doesn't matter though, because several involve or several involves. Would we say they? They involve, they involves. Plural verb, plural pronoun, either indefinite or our trick of testing with something we know and feel comfortable with. One of my friends, again, clearly singular, don't get distracted by this, one plays. Everyone, singular, doesn't matter what this says, is too small. Now when we get to both, we know both is plural, doesn't matter what this is, both sound, they sound fun. Most can be either, but this is where we do want to look here. Since project is singular, most should be singular. Has is what we choose. Most of our project has already been finished. Singular, singular, singular. Now, pronoun antecedent agreement. Pronouns must agree in number and gender with their antecedents, and this is the one where we struggle because we tend to use singular subjects, especially indefinite pronouns, and then we tend to use plural pronouns. Okay, and that can't happen. And I'll show you some examples. So again, our singular, same list, each, either, neither, one, etc. Same rule if we have or nor. If we have two singulars, easy enough, singular. If we have plurals, there's our list, can be both, and we have to use the object of the preposition and the antecedent context to determine. Okay, so let's look through some of these. So here's each. Here's my phrase. So I've got subject, verb. Each of the women designed her or their own pattern. We are going to do this wrong 9 times out of 10 because we are going to want to say their because we see women, but we forget we don't match to that. This has to match to this, which has to match in gender here. Each is singular. Since they are both women, we can say her, not their. Their is plural, each is singular. Those two have to match, subject and antecedent. Or subject and pronoun, pronoun antecedent. If this were customers or something generic, we didn't know male or female, we should use his or her, which is what you see in the second example. Everyone is my subject, which happens to be singular. Has handed is my verb. In, here's my phrase, their paper. Everyone is singular. We do this wrong in our speech. Everyone has handed in their paper. It sounds okay to us, but it is wrong. Everyone is singular. It is his or her. Now, if you don't want to use the his or her construction, then you need to change your pronoun from everyone to students have handed in, all students have handed in their paper. You need to rewrite the sentence to avoid that. Someone, subject, verb, singular subject, left his umbrella. Now in this case, they're using the his as a generic singular. Some people are offended by that. They say his or hers. Maybe there's a context that says it was only boys there, so his is appropriate, but it is never there. It is never there. Now, most is one of our pronouns that can do either. So we need to look here at work. Work is singular. That makes the subject singular. Most is finished. Okay, so singular, singular, singular. If I look at the next example, though, most, plural, plural, are, plural. Collective, all is plural. People, are they acting separately as individuals? Are they acting as a group? This is individuals, their hands. But when I look at all of the newspaper, singular, was, all, singular, was, singular, soaked. Family, collective noun. Is the family a single unit, or is the family separate individuals? Here, look at your hint. Has. Has is a singular verb. That means this has to be a singular subject, which means I need to use a singular pronoun. So even if you feel kind of like it's plural, if the verb is already singular, no decision to make, everything has to be singular. It all has to agree. One is singular, can be happy only if he, typo, has respect for himself. So typo didn't help. One is singular. One can be happy only if he has respect for himself. Probably more politically correct to say if he or she has respect for himself or herself. Gets a little wordy, so maybe it's cleaner to say people can be happy only if they have respect for themselves. Make it all agree. The point is, it all has to be the same. So senior class. Is this a group of people acting individually, or is this a group of people acting collectively? Well, since they're wearing separate rings individually, it is there. Okay, it's not them acting one thing together. Okay. Now wore, he wore, they wore. Wore doesn't help us as a verb because the plural and the singular are the same, but the meaning of this is separate individuals wore their rings. So we use the plural. Here's our either or structure, which means we match to the second, must give there. But when we use the neither nor structure, same thing, look to the second, has is singular, the verb matches here like it's supposed to, which means this needs to match here also. Everything matches to the closest subject with the neither nor, either or structure. So that is it for agreement. And go ahead and try any of those practice problems in the packet.